I welcome all of you to this video on vocabulary improvement. Right from the basic to the advanced level, learners can benefit from it. For the basic level learners, there are some very easy, very simple words. But these words are paired with their tougher or more difficult synonym. Many of you might know the more difficult synonym because most of you say that you understand English, but you can't speak. Now, this video helps you to bring those words which you understand into your usage. That means you can actively remember and use them whenever you're speaking or writing. But you can't do this if you just memorize the meanings of these words. The only way for you to use a word, whether it is a simple one or it is a tough one, is by using them again and again. You might have seen that whenever a new language is being learnt, one word is learnt at a time. So in the entire day, you learn one word, but you use it in 100, 200 sentences. That single word you use throughout the day. Then at the end of the day, you are perfect in that one word. Of course, we don't have that much time to learn only one word per day. So I've given you many words here. In each of the words, the easier one and the tougher one in a pair, so that when the easy one comes to your mind, you also remember that, oh, I have learnt another tougher version of this word. In a formal context, in a situation where you are speaking to people who would like you to use a vocabulary which is very advanced, you can use that word. If somebody is using them while speaking, you don't struggle to understand because you know, oh, this is the word which they are using. Actually, this is what they mean because you already know that it has a simpler synonym also. These pairs are very, very important for you to develop your vocabulary, but only through practice. If with each one I have given you one sentence, you must make 10 or 20. When you make them in pairs, you remember them because you made the sentences yourself. You thought from your own mind and you generated the sentence from your own mind, and then the sentence has come using the words, both the easy ones and the difficult ones. If you practice like this video has enough material for you to practice for many days. Because I find that you might be watching the videos, but if you don't practice, you are not improving much. That is why I wanted you to comment. Every day you watch a video, please write in the comment box how much have you improved after watching that video, after practicing what I have said in that video. Once you do that, I will be aware. And from there, you will also have some questions. I'm trying to answer your questions. Some of them get delayed, of course, because comments are a huge number, but I'm trying to answer them slowly. So please have a little patience. In the meantime, almost 250 videos are there. You can watch them. One video per day, 2 videos per day, a little time to practice, and that is how you improve. Let us move now to the words, the pairs of words, one simple and the other one difficult. Here you see 2 pairs. Tired and exhausted, beautiful and exquisite. Tired and exhausted mean the same. Tired is the simpler word and exhausted is its more difficult synonym. Similarly, beautiful is quite simple. We use it very commonly. Exquisite is a higher level, advanced level word meaning beautiful. Here we have sentences with all of them. After attending meetings all day, my father came home very tired. Now we have with the more difficult synonym, my brother was exhausted after running the 10-kilometer marathon. In the earlier sentence, you can put exhausted. In this sentence, you can put tired. So they are interchangeable. My niece looked beautiful on her wedding day. The model's dress was exquisite. Now, exquisite we usually don't use with describing a person. Rather, we use it for something like the dress or your taste. All these things we can use. But beautiful can be used here. The model's dress was beautiful can also be used. Now, the pair of easy and difficult words in the beginning is dangerous, quite common, often used. Menacing, the more advanced synonym for dangerous. The hike in the mountains was very dangerous. Here we cannot use menacing because usually menacing is something which has a life of its own. The tiger looked menacing even inside the cage. Here you can use dangerous. You can say the tiger looked dangerous. Suffer is the simpler one and endure is the more difficult version of suffer. I won't come to office today as I'm suffering from fever. Many people say suffering with fever, but that's not correct. It is suffering from. What cannot be cured must be endured is an old English proverb. Endure is to bear here. Suffer and endure. These are the two words which we have used. The word big is quite simple, and the higher version of it, the more difficult form of it, is enormous. I'm planning a big party for my son's birthday. Then, for her daughter's engagement, she got an enormous 5-tier cake. Tier is one on top of the other. So here we have big and enormous. Next, position and orientation. The position of their chairs ensured a good view of the stage. So they were watching some program and from their chairs they could see it well. So position. Let us change the orientation of the armchair to face the door. So you have an armchair, a chair in which you relax. That is what is called an armchair. And if you change its orientation or you change the way in which it is placed, there you have the more difficult word. The pair here is pain and agony. She was in unbearable pain when she fractured her ankle. Then he went through great mental agony when he lost his job. So you can have the word unbearable agony and you can have mental agony, but it is not very collocative to use great mental pain. The word agony is more suitable. Then demand and clamor. Demand is used every day, very easy word, but clamor is the most difficult form. There is a lot of demand for good books in this area where many students live. Then the agitators were clamoring for higher salary and annual bonus. demand, and clamor. We cannot replace clamor in the first sentence. In the second sentence, we can say agitators were demanding. The pair here is joy and exultation. First pair. Listening to the morning song of birds gives me a lot of joy. Joy, happiness. Then you have exultation. Getting the first rank in the university filled him with exultation. Here, you can replace both words in both the sentences. Joy can be used in the second sentence, exultation in the first sentence. Both are possible. The next pair is success, which is very common, and triumph, which is the more difficult synonym. The teacher advised the students to work hard to achieve success. Winning the final football match against their arch rival was a great triumph for the school. Now you cannot interchange them, but success and triumph, you can see, are similar in meaning. More simple and the one which is more difficult. Similar and identical is the pair here. We are planning to wear similar dresses for the party. Here you can say identical also. The two boys were twins but not identical. Then you have to say not similar to each other. Then you have the next pair, try and attempt. Try is very commonly used. Attempt is more rare. It is more difficult. You have to try very hard to get that promotion because there is a lot of competition. So here you have to attempt very hard. We don't say, we say try only. He failed in his attempt to climb the mountain. Again, we don't use he failed in his try. Or trial we can use here. And if you try very hard, there you cannot say if you attempt very hard. So he failed in his attempt to climb the mountain. The word praise is very commonly used, very easy word, but applaud is the more difficult one. Applaud is not very often used, usually. Your boss was full of praise about the way you handled the new clients. So here we have praise. You can also say your boss applauded your handling of the new clients. Then you have to change the form, applauded, and the sentence structure also. Everyone applauded the musician's performance. Here applauded is very suitable, but you can use praised. You can say everyone praised the musician's performance. Fear in this next pair is very commonly used. Dread is not very common. It's the more difficult form. I can't look down from the 8th floor terrace as I have fear of heights. Dread is not very good collocation in that sentence. I dread to go into the principal's office as I'm very scared of her. You can also use fear, but dread is better in collocation. Famous is very often used. A very famous author was invited as the chief guest for the symposium. We use it very often. Eminent we use much lesser. It is the more difficult form. An eminent scientist from my country won the Nobel Prize this year. So here you can say famous. Then in the earlier sentence also, you can use eminent. Huge and massive. I think we've come across this in other videos also. Huge is very big in size. Massive is the more difficult form of the word huge. There was a huge crowd at the cricket match. You can say massive also. This 100-year-old tree has a massive trunk. Trunk is the lower part. Then we have the word massive, which can also be replaced by the word huge. The word rich can also have a more difficult version, prosperous. We have two sentences here. The rich man was also very generous. Then he worked hard so that he could earn more and become prosperous. Here you can use rich, he can become rich. Thick is very commonly used, very easy word. Dense is the more difficult pair. She has long and thick hair. Here we don't use dense, that doesn't collocate. The dense forest had many wild animals. Here again, you don't use thick forest. So both of them we don't collocate if you interchange. Evil and wicked are the pair we have now, where evil is the simpler version, the easier one, and wicked is the more difficult one. It is your choice whether you want to be good or evil. That is the use of the word. Stepmothers in fairy tales are often portrayed as very wicked. If you read stories like Cinderella, Snow White, you will find the stepmother is very wicked. Here you can use evil also. Bring is the easier word in the pair. Fetch is the more difficult one. Don't forget to bring paper napkins when we go for the picnic. So here we have the word bring. Here fetch is to bring and carry. That meaning is not possible here. So you can say that fetch the paper napkin when you sit down to eat and you are asking somebody to bring it from some place. The dog eagerly fetched the ball that the child was throwing. So dogs and children like to play this game. You throw this ball and the dog brings it. So there, fetch is very correct. You can use bring also, but fetch collocates better. I'm using the word collocation again and again. Please watch the videos on collocation already uploaded on the channel. Kindness and generosity are the pair of easy and difficult words here. The injured stray dog responded to the little girl's kindness. Then, the factory owner's generosity was well known as he paid his workers well. In this sentence, you can use kindness, but there in the earlier sentence, generosity does not collocate well. Ugly is the simple word, very easy. Its difficult pair is hideous. The young girl started dieting because she thought she was fat and ugly. Appearance, not good appearance. The tribals wore hideous masks when they went into the jungle to frighten wild animals. So they wore masks which were not nice looking. So we are saying hideous for that. Ugly you can use there. Fat and hideous also you can be used for human beings. Difficult, an easy word, simple, used very often, has challenging as its pair. The old lady found it difficult to climb the stairs with her weak knees. So you have difficult. Winning the maths Olympiad is a challenging task. Here you can replace difficult and challenging in both sentences. Dangerous, very often used, easy word. Perilous is the more difficult word. By learning these difficult words, you are enhancing your vocabulary. You are learning how to use them so that when you want to use it in your speaking or writing, the word will come to your mind immediately. The presence of criminals in that locality makes it a dangerous place to go after dark. Then you have perilous. Columbus had undertaken perilous sea voyages in search of new routes to Asia from Europe. This is a place where you use the word perilous. You can use interchange perilous and dangerous. The easier version of this pair is hungry, and ravenous is the more difficult one. The street dogs were hungry when nobody fed them for one day. The same sentence we can use. The street dogs were ravenous when nobody fed them for 3 days. So hungry, more hungry, really maximum hunger. That is what ravenous is. So almost the same sentence, 1 day and 3 days, that's the difference. Dirty, simple word, and filthy, the more difficult word in the pair. The waitress came to clean the dirty plates from the table. Here if you say filthy, it doesn't collocate very well. The street was filthy with garbage strewn all around. Here you can say dirty or filthy. Filthy is more dirty, like ravenous is hungrier. That is how it is used. Poor is an easy word which we use very often. Destitute is a word we use rarely, and that is the more difficult word in this pair. He spent half his salary on feeding the poor people in his town. Here you can also say destitute people. There was a charity to provide food for the destitute in the town. Here also you can say poor, for the poor in the town. Poor can be used as adjective. It can also be used as a noun. Angry, and the difficult word furious. Angry we use very commonly. The child was very angry when he was asked to stop playing with the ball. The old man was furious when the cricket ball broke his window glass. So furious is more angry, a fierce kind of angry. That is furious. Weak is the easier word. Frail is the more difficult word. Slow is the easier word, and sluggish is the more difficult word. These two pairs are the last in this video. She is still very weak, though she has recovered from flu. The old lady was thin and frail. Then you have, he drove at a slow pace with a baby in the car. His movements were very sluggish even after his ankle fracture healed. So we have these words showing that the pair of words which are synonyms of each other can be used in certain contexts and cannot be used in certain others. I have mentioned with each pair where it is possible to interchange them and where it isn't. Much of it depends not on the meaning but on the collocation. Therefore, we should learn collocation as an important part of developing our vocabulary. This is very important. So please do these things, add to your vocabulary and speak better English, write better English, become more fluent and more confident. All the best and thank you.